Greetings, fellow citizens of Disneyland. Ricky here. What do you say? Let's go on a trip around the Walt Disney Resort and discover so many fun design details. All right, I originally wasn't going to film this. I was just going to enjoy it on my own. But then I put 2 feet inside and I said, no way am I not going to share this experience with people. So let's jump in. The young, determined Walt Disney over here. Walt in front of his huge map. Have you ever seen how big that room is? The size of that room that Walt was in was so massive that I love the photos of him way up on the ladder to get to the top of his map. You know you got big dreams when you need a big room and a big map to show the world what you want to do. I always love this photo because it makes me think, what would Walt think about Star Wars Galaxy's Edge or any state of Disneyland at this time, or Walt Disney World? He saw that the dream came true. My favorite thing about this photo is that this was the last photo of Walt Disney taken at Disneyland, but you can sit in the seat, like where he's at in this cart, you can still ride in that cart up and down Main Street, which is phenomenal that that's still available. I heard there's going to be models, and I love models. Oh, yes! Little slice of home right there, and up on the TV, the intros for the Disneyland TV show. Oh, it's a little jungle cruise. A little miniature of the Tower of the Four Winds. I was able to sit at Wally Crump's dinner table and talk to him about designing this and have him tell me why they decided not to bring it back from the 1964 World's Fair and put it at Disneyland. That is awesome to get to see this. I still somehow have not got to see this thing. I've been around it, I've been on the edge of it. I don't know why Spaceship Earth keeps eluding me, but one day I will make it mine. One day soon I'm booking a cruise. The Dancing Man was one of the very first attempts at making an animatronic. That's so cool to get to see it. One of the things I have always hoped that they would do at Disneyland is actually do an attraction about Disneyland. Give us a way to share the story and the history so those of us that love it can rejoice in that almost like fable now of what we love about the park. But for a new person that maybe you bring to the park that doesn't quite understand the magic of Disneyland, it could be like a tutorial or a lesson on what they're exploring that day and why Disneyland is what it is. So I've always hoped that they would put in an attraction actually telling the Disneyland story, the story about Walt Disney. That'll do too.
All right, everyone, it looks like we are ready to get started.
Bring it on.
came about when my daughters were very young, and Saturday was always Daddy's Day with the two daughters. So we'd start out and try to go someplace with, different things, and I would take them to the merry-go-round, and I took them different places. And as I'd sit there while they rode the merry-go-round, did all these things, I felt that there should be something built, some kind of an amusement enterprise built where the parents and the children could have fun together. So that's how Disneyland started.
Yeah, that was that was pretty great, man. And there's one thing that these parks and that man has taught me, that life can be a series of dreams. And even though Walt had like huge dreams and became a 1%er and hit the whole way, not saying your dreams don't have to be big, but manageable ones are really great. And when you have dreams you can hit and achieve, it fulfills the energy to make bigger dreams. And why are there 2 launch bays and why are both of them closed? What a piece of junk. That's my first time seeing the marquee, the neon all lit up. That is awesome. For anybody who didn't understand that last joke, I always joke about Launch Bay being my favorite spot at Disneyland because quite honestly, it is the most horrible spot. And to see that there's a second one and both are dysfunctional, that was pretty funny. Christmas lights. I am loving this. Look at this, a Christmas display. This is awesome. This feels like a Christmas card back here. This is so good. Why is there nobody back here? Wow. I've wandered into some sort of Muppets land. Look at this guy. Oh, yes. A shot of Christmas is just what I needed. This is so awesome back here. I love the New York aesthetic. Obviously Disney seems to do California better, but this like faux little Italy area is awesome. To see this like little Italy aesthetic back here in this little hidden cove. I'm a local, I hang out back here. This spot is awesome. And Christmas all year? Yes, please. Really? Oh well, they can't all be winners. Hey, for everyone that says there's not that big of a difference in the 2 Galaxy's Edges, this entryway from the Muppets area, this is a massive difference. Like you just kind of, boom, fall right into the Resistance area. Like this is pretty significant. I'm kind of freaking out a little bit. It's just how different that transition is. This Galaxy's Edge has really surprised me in that it is way different. There's a lot of differences, like subtle differences, like this little garden over here behind me, but there are lots of differences. But right now, it is my time to do something that I've always dreaded, the transition from Galaxy's Edge to the Toy Story land. So, ready to do this. Yeah, see, there's a lot of subtle. It's right there. As I was getting ready to say, there's a lot of subtle finesse. And then I literally spun around a rock, and there's Buzz Lightyear ready to greet me. Galaxy's Edge, Toy Story. I mean, at least it's not Woody, right? Like, at least they did put their spaceman next to the Spaceland. Hey, I've done a good job of not being overly critical or bashing, but come on, this is wild. This is one that I had to document because this, to me and to my love of Disney storytelling, this is outrageous, like certifiably outrageous. Okay, let's backtrack some of that negativity because this vibe right here, this vibe of all big giant Christmas lights all year long, I love this. In fact, if I could find Christmas lights this big, I would for sure hang them on my home. I just don't know if my little mid-century modern roof could bear this load because it's quite a house. But man, oh man, this is great. Big Christmas lights, I'm here for it. Thank you for your service, sir. Thank you for your service. And making sure there's Christmas lights all year long. Well played. Now that is a sign. Wow. Wow. What a thing of beauty that is. That is beautiful. Look at that. That is so awesome. Disneyland better get that sign or something equivalent. We better get a sign like that. I have a feeling this is my last time in this park, and I do not want to say goodbye to it. Having too much fun. Friends, this at the edge of Hollywood Studios is where my day ends, but this is where my day begins. Friends, I am getting ready to see something that means the world to me at the Walt Disney World Resort. It's the artwork of Mary Blair in the opening day classic, the contemporary resort. This hotel embodies what I love about mid-century architecture, and knowing that there's Mary Blair original artwork inside of this building and monorails coming through, lions and tigers and bears, oh my, it's three things I love all wrapped in one space. Let's explore the artwork of Mary Blair at the Walt Disney World Contemporary Resort. This is the promise of a future that I always wanted to be a part of. Look at this artwork in here. I love the mid-century aesthetic. It never tires to me. Fascinating. Oh my. Able to see the actual texture that is on each of those blocks when it was put back together in a jigsaw puzzle way is absolutely fascinating. I've seen this in photos and in all my friends' videos, but I've never got to see that texture that exists inside the art. that's just, oh, there it is. Look at that. Oh my. The detailing in this huge piece is fascinating to me, that you can see the texture that exists. As somebody who spent most of their life as a professional illustrator, not only do I enjoy from this the visual aesthetic of the style guide, but the construction, being able to see and realize all the work that went into building this is phenomenal. I mean, you can see the fingerprint of the artist where they stepped into these stones, stepped into these tiles, and made all of this come to life. I am in art heaven right now. Look at that. Nothing would make me happier. It just doesn't stop. There's just one in every direction you look. And then there's this guy. If I ever wanted anybody to block my shot, it would always be a monorail. I am in love. This is great. What's super impressive about this piece is how there's continual horizontal lines, right? Each horizontal line sets up a new chapter or a new story inside of the artwork, and then we see the vertical lines create that building block that gives it such height. Characters are introduced in different stair steps along the way so that your eye can just literally follow up and down this giant mountain made of all these little artistic vignettes. But the through line that ties all of these different ideas together are those horizontal lines. You can't just throw a bunch of things in a pile and expect for it to be a successful art piece. There has to be a style guide and consistency. And the consistency in this are those horizontal planes, as well as the consistency of Mary Blair's way of foreseeing how a character can be broken down into very heartfelt geometric shapes. So she's illustrating the essence of the animal using shapes that are familiar to us, but then packaging it together where you're like, I've never seen a goat or a bear or a cat or a bunny like that before. And that's what true art does. It adds in a narrative. It adds into a voice. You don't have to be able to draw like the camera. You just have to be uniquely consistent all the time. And her consistency was her magic. To see the world like Mary Blair is like no one else has ever seen it before. What makes this piece unique too is that it is done on tiles on the structure of the hotel here, which takes her loose art style and actually does place a grid, a mathematical grid over the top of it. So when you look at the contrast of the geometric grid with her emotional flow, it does tell you how far off the beaten path she is, but also how there's a little edge of reality that brings it back into our world so we can understand what we're seeing. A master's touch to this is if you look inside of all the vertical lines that are stemming from those horizontal foundations, there are patterns injected inside, trapped inside of those shapes. And even though those patterns may not be the same pattern as the piece next to it, that same pattern will pick up a piece or two down the line. So it's not so much information that your brain can't handle it. There's enough familiar for you to understand what you're looking at, but enough different for you to feel like you're looking at something completely different than anything that you've seen before. Friends, my first ride on a monorail in what seems like 2 years. I have been waiting for this moment for so long. It feels good to be back in a monorail. time, one of my favorite fun facts about Disneyland versus Disney World is that our monorail track in Disneyland is 2.5 miles. The monorail track here is 25 miles, showing you the size of the two different resorts. So our monorail ride always feels like just when it's getting started, it's time to get off. I'm excited to put in some miles on a monorail. Time to move on to our next destination and continue this architectural tour at the Polynesian, which is something else that I've been dying to see because of its sense of unique architecture. Love those A-frames up there, suggestive of the actual roof line. Very, very cool vibe here in the lobby. As somebody who went to Hawaii and absolutely adored it, way more than what I thought, it's nice to be inside of this tropical theming and design. This is awesome. In case you were wondering, the aliens are our ancestors. There they are, paid tribute and statues. I should probably stop with that alien stuff. I don't want anybody to start taking me serious when I make that joke. I'm really enjoying all of this woodwork, all these engravings, adding in these characters and this flair. This is a very cool aesthetic. I like it. I enjoyed it a little bit more where it's outside of this type of look that can be a little, you know, roadside touristy, a little bit animated, when it skews more to looking more like something that was created by native people to the indigenous lands. But it is pretty cool. It is pretty fun for a hotel to have this type of vibe and decor. That little compass is so cool on the resort map. Really, really like the coloring and details in there. Love this pattern over here. Not only the color choice that's used that has that rad 70s color palette, but that it's tactile and that it's individual pieces of wood put together to make that pattern. That's great. But up here is something that I've always wanted to see, because this to me feels like one of the most baller ways that one could Walt Disney World. Look at these things. This is awesome. That right there, that would be a first-class experience. Being in your own cabin submerged in water is expensive anywhere in the world. Being in a cabin submerged in water at the Walt Disney World Resort, that's gonna just take it to a whole new level. But man, that would be awesome, because you would not only have that quiet, tranquil place to sit on your deck and watch the water go by and spend time with your family and loved ones, but also be able to peer across to see the fireworks at night from your own private balcony. Soon see the lights of the Tron light cycle canopy lit up, as well as Space Mountain. That's some first class. That's some first class living right there. And you know me, little to no class. Not sure why I still had my mask on in those last shots, but I think I'm kind of guessing because I've just been so excited about everything around me, I just forget to take it off because I go indoors and then I pop back out. So we're walking over to the Grand Floridian, which seems very, very far, but my bud AS is telling me that it's closer than what I think. Not that I'm complaining about walking, but I'm just so blown away at the proximity of everything here and how much land there is to cover, but also with my love of urban planning, city design, I love how everything here has this connective structure, or this connective tissue of planes, trains, and automobiles. Well, maybe no planes, but let's take planes out and put boats, trains, and automobiles to get you to wherever you want to go. The infrastructure that is Walt Disney World that ties all of these things together, making it possible to go from this to something that looks like this. All right, quick pit stop, because that's awesome. I was hoping that this transition was going to take you to our next destination, but I don't know what's next. I don't know what's around the bend, so I'm just walking around in love with everything that I'm discovering and remembering it'll never be as fun as this time. So yeah, remember my cool transition? Things like this to this. Look at the lobby of the Grand Floridian. So big and bright and white with two chandeliers that, dare I say, I'm feeling Christmas tree vibes. This hotel is so beautiful. This is my idea of where I would want to stay with my family and wake up on Christmas morning to have an epic Disneyland Christmas adventure. Look at this ginormous model of a bird cage. This lobby is so awesome, and just steps from the Poly that we were just at. Now I'm gonna break this down real quick. I thought the Poly was gonna be way more exotic and tropical, and don't get me wrong, I really did enjoy it, but it felt like it skewed a little bit too hotel-ish for me with the way that the buildings were laid out. But as we've walked up on the Grand Floridian, I really am liking this vibe a lot, and it's surprising me. You know, when I judge things and rank things according to their aesthetics, I know my history and I know what I like, but I always keep an open mind to be receptive of whatever it is that I adventure next. And there's just something about this space that feels very regal. It feels like it has a nice ancestry to it. It feels like what I would believe like a high-end America experience to be like. And you know, I do enjoy exotic things, but at the end of the day, I am a native son, and I'm really enjoying the aesthetic of the Grand Floridian. I think though, we're getting ready to have a little bit of lunch, and if the lunch is no good, then the hotel's trash. That's the rule. I think once again, what I'm really enjoying about this and say the train station when you come into the Magic Kingdom is I like that Grand Central template of, you know, grandiose staircases, these big circular like vaulted skylights with some colonial type inspiration around it. Like I just enjoy that type of vibe so much, way more than what I was anticipating. It's a week full of surprises. Do enjoy this courtyard. I think that's what I'm enjoying about this, is the courtyard of all the different buildings. Those bright red roses next to the grass. They almost look like poinsettias. Wait a minute. Am I falling in love with this hotel because it feels like Christmas? Because nothing seduces me like Christmas, so maybe that's what's happening here. Maybe the Poly is better, but I'm falling in love with the Christmas vibe because I need some Christmas. Friends, from the edge of one man's dream, my dreams came true today when I was able to see more of Hollywood Studios, more Buena Vista Street, and more Disney parks. I hope you had so much fun taking this adventure with me today. I know it was all around the place, but that was my day too. Hopping and jumping around, getting to discover so much of Walt Disney Resort. Everybody told me that 6 days wouldn't be enough time, and I said 6 days, that's too much time. And oh, was I wrong. Time is running out, and I'm only 2 days in. I want to thank everybody for showing up, for following along. Please leave a comment below. I'm enjoying reading how you guys are seeing this through me and people that are thinking about coming out. It has been so much fun, and I'm always happy when you're here with me. Thank you to all my members of Club 1313 that have made this possible. This trip has been amazing, and I'm already working on one for the spring. Thank you guys so much for showing up. Until the next time I see you standing on the edge of one man's dream, and looking at another man's disaster. I'll see you back on the channel with more Walt Disney World 50th anniversary coverage. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for going on this journey with me. Look at that. It's so great. I just found out that over there's a Starbucks. Wish I knew. Amazing. I don't want to leave. I'm purposely going as slow as possible because I don't want to say goodbye.
Like I said.